Hi there, and welcome to Year 12 English at Paraparaumu College. This short video will give you an overview of what the Year 12 English courses look like at Paraparaumu College in terms of assessment. This year there will be individual programs of assessment. That means that not every student in the class will do the same assessments. Many of you will do similar things, but you will have some choices which will allow you to play to your strengths and, to some extent, take charge of your own learning and certainly take charge of which assignments you do. There are two courses, EN 1201 and EL 1201. Everything is at NCA Level 2, running achievement standards. Everyone in the EN 1201 course will have a go at 2.10, the close viewing assignment. Everyone in the EL 1201 course will have a go at 2.4, the writing portfolio. Most of the classes for EL 1201 will study some Shakespeare at some point during the year, and EL 1201 students usually do more parts of the end of year examination than EN 1201. The EL 1201 course is targeted at students who have done pretty well at English in the past. There are 10 different assessments you can choose from this year. First up we have 2.1. It is part of the exam where you write about written texts. So it's analyze specified aspects of studied written texts supported by evidence worth 4 credits. It's where you would write about a novel, Shakespeare, war poetry or some other written text you've studied as part of your end of year exam. It's worth both reading and writing credits. You could choose to do 2.2, which is analyze specified aspects of a studied visual or oral text supported by evidence. That's where you would write about a film you've studied at the end of your exam. You could choose to do 2.3, which is analyzing unfamiliar written texts. That's where you brush up on your techniques, your language techniques. You go into the exam and are presented with some short written texts you haven't seen before and have to answer questions about them. That's worth 4 credits, and it is also worth reading and writing credits. Most students will choose 1 or 2 parts of the exam. A few students might do all 3. Next up is 2.4, which is the writing portfolio. You write a number of pieces of writing, choose your best 2, and submit those for assessment. It's worth 6 credits. They are 6 writing credits, and everyone in the EL 1201 course will have a go at this standard, and you can choose to do it if you are in EN 1201 as well. 2.5 is construct and deliver a crafted and controlled oral text. That's generally speaking a speech. That speech can be delivered in front of the class, or you can do it as a sort of pre-prepared video of your speech. If you choose that option, your speech has to be done in a single take, so it's not editing together a performance. You have to give a sustained performance, but it does not have to be in front of the class. It can be done somewhere else and recorded and then handed in for your teacher as long as the speech or the content is up to standard. You might choose to do 2.6, which is where you create a crafted and controlled visual and verbal text. So it's a text which combines visual and verbal elements. Maybe in Year 11 you may have done a static image. This is the more complex version of that, where you might make a triptych, which is a series of 3 images with words in them which develop an idea, or an excerpt, several pages from a graphic novel or a graphic drawn version of a short story or poem, or an audio-visual text which you've created, which combines those visual and verbal features. 2.7 is connections across texts supported by evidence. That's where you look at a number of different texts and analyze how they are similar. So perhaps you might do a theme study where you look at what are the messages or themes of 5 films, or you might read 4 or 5 books and look at how the characters are similar. This can be presented in a number of ways. It does not have to be a written report, but most of the examples we have are of written reports, and it's certainly a good way to present it, but you can look at other ways of presenting that information if you would like to. 2.8 is using information literacy skills to form developed conclusions. So it's a research project where you use your skills to collect information and then make some conclusions based on it, evaluate the information, analyze it. Generally, it's a research project on a literary topic. Achievement Standard 2.9 is forming developed personal responses to independently read texts supported by evidence. This is what was previously called wide reading. The idea is you would read a number of books and other texts and then write down your personal responses to the ideas, characters, and messages of those texts. And a portion of those have to be novels, but you can also put in a couple of other shorter texts or other types of texts as well. And lastly, we have 2.10, which is the one that everyone in EN 1201 does. That's analysing aspects of visual and or oral texts through close viewing and or listening supported by evidence. Which all that means it's a test about a film you've seen in class. So your teacher will probably present you with a scene from a film, and you have to write about how the visual features and oral features have been used in that sequence. As I say, everyone in EN 1201 will have a go at that. Usually it's done just at the end of a film study unit. And previously we've done it as an in-class test. For UE literacy, across all of your subjects at levels 2 and 3, you need to gain 5 reading and 5 writing credits. At level 3, there's lots of subjects that offer literacy credits, depending on what courses you take. At level 2, there are not quite so many, but in this course, you could choose from 2.8 or 2.9 to pick up some reading credits internally. You could do 2.2, which is an exam, which is worth writing credits, or 2.4, which is an internal, which is worth writing credits. And in the exam, 2.1 and 2.3 are each worth 4 credits, and they can be used for either reading or writing. So across years 12 and 13, levels 2 and 3, if you want to go on to university, you'll need to make sure you have your university entrance literacy. That can be gained through English at level 2, but you can also get some of those credits you need at level 3 or in your level 3 history exam or your bio exam or various other places as well. But this slide summarizes which credits go where for what. As you'll see, if you passed, for example, 2.4, that would give you all the writing credits you need, and then you did 2.1 in the exam and 2.8 as an internal, that would get you all the reading credits you need for UE literacy. Please do be aware that literacy doesn't just come from English, it can also be attained in other subjects. So just look at your overall program, but keep an eye on where you want your literacy credits to come from, because you can get them in English. So you'll need to make a choice this year about which of those many standards you wish to have a crack at. Remember, there's 2.10 close viewing, 2.9 was a wide reading where you read in your own time and write about what you read, 2.8 was a research project, 2.7 was where connections across different texts, and they can be connections across several films, it doesn't have to be books. 2.6 was creating a visual and verbal text, possibly a graphic novel, excerpt, or a short video. 2.5 is more or less a speech. 2.4 is the writing portfolio, which is quite strict on spelling and grammar. 2.3 was the exam part where you write about unfamiliar texts. 2.2 was the bit of the exam where you write about a film. And 2.1 is written texts, where you write about written texts in the exam. Have a talk to your teacher, choose something like 18 to 20 credits worth of assessment work to complete over the course of the year, and good luck with your assessments.